Hello and welcome to the Low Code Campfire. This is episode number 234 for March 6, 2026. I am Dale Warner, head of support for Plantain App, and today our main topic will be Forms 2.0, A New Hope. We'll get into that and anything else you want to talk about in this next hour. Low Code Campfire is an event that we do every Friday. It's a community gathering where we get together and talk about what we're experiencing with Plantain App and help get past blockers and maybe get some advice and perspective from some of our other Plantain App users. But it's all skill levels welcome, whether you're beginner, expert, somewhere in between, we're happy to have you here. YouTube.com/plantainapp is the spot where we post all these episodes and plus lots more resources as we develop them. So we encourage you to subscribe to that channel and then hit the alarm bell so that you know when we post new content. Usually these are posted next day or later same day. We'll run this agenda where we'll stop and say hello because we're a friendly group, and then we'll go around the campfire with things like first call, anything you want to talk about, anything submitted in advance. There was nothing submitted in advance today. And then we hit a variety of other topics, and then after an hour or so, we go into our afterglow segment. That's where we turn off the recording, raise a virtual adult beverage, and begin to enjoy the weekend. So please engage with us, jump in, show and tell, open up your chat window, but do engage. As I mentioned, you can submit things for our consideration onto the agenda. Support at plantainapp.com is the place to do that. I'll do a little bit of research if that's appropriate, and then we'll put it on the agenda to talk about. Hello, one and all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Greetings from sunny Florida.
Very sunny and very south Florida.
Very North Florida. I'm in Panama City Beach today. I'm showing you the view from my window here.
It's glare today, but yes, we'll trust
glare.
it.
Yeah, there's some beach there, and it's very nice.
Glad you're with us, Don. Did anyone come with something first call?
Well, actually, I did.
Good.
I have a form. I'm using a form. I have some data and I'm trying to show some statistics. So I have a table of statistics. And so the statistics are for, I'll just tell you the whole thing. The statistics are for county voting. So how many people asked for a vote by mail, how many people are early voting, and things like that. So I've got roll-ups by precinct, and I want to. So I've got one. I'm using forms to show that just by because I want to be able to then once I show the roll-up of the entire county's information, I want to then ask them, so do you want to see a particular precinct? And my technique was going to be using action forms to put all the data there. I do an event pre-init event of going to the database, grabbing the data. And then in the form, I want to have a drop down of all of the precincts, and then they select a precinct, and then I would just reload the page passing the precinct number. So the issue I have, or the question I have is, in the case where I'm passing a parameter, that's pretty trivial. I just check to see if the parameter, first I want to check to see if it's a valid parameter, a valid precinct number. So I'll do that. I can do that easy enough. But the question I have is, what happens if I don't pass it? Like when it first comes in, it's not getting past a parameter. So there's no parameter, precinct equals 10, there's just nothing in the query string. So at that point, so I want to know, is there a way to tell, is there a query string parameter or not? And if there isn't, then I would just show the county roll up.
Well, so for example, if it's if the parameter is precinct, so question mark precinct equal whatever, or ampersand precinct equal whatever,
Right.
um, that get colon precinct would be blank. So you could test for get colon precinct equals quote quote and
Okay.
pick a different
And
path.
that's equivalent to that there was nothing passed.
Right. And actually, so let me there's another
Well, that
one.
kind of makes sense. So that if somebody is fooling around and they type in precinct equals, dollar hook precinct equals and then runs it, then I would say, oh, whatever's happening, I'll just show them the county roll up. And if there is a value in precinct and it's a valid precinct number, then I'll go and grab the statistics for the precinct. So yeah, it makes sense.
Let's see if I can we look at tokens a little bit. There's the get token. Um, this doesn't provide a whole lot of documentation, but um, this is going to return nothing. And then you can also use the equal sign. You can provide a default with an
Yeah,
equal sign. So if you prefer, you can, by doing it this way, you can test to see if it's some, eh, um, if your, let's say your default roll up was precinct 0, you could do this. Whoops, you could do this so it gets a valid precinct, or if they've overrided it, so. But it sounds like for your purposes, just to answer your question, testing for this.
got it. And is there, and the reason why I'm wondering about this is, especially if I test for if I need to test the precinct number to see that I have a valid precinct, because there's not an infinite number of precincts, and there's not it's not in a range from 0 to 100. It's a code number basically.
Right?
So I need to check it against the database of all precincts. The reason why I need to do that is because I think it's certainly possible that somebody sees that and says, oh well, I'll just put in precinct equals 25 and see what I get. And so I wanted to test for that. But is there another way of passing that value back onto the page besides a query string?
Uh, yes.
Something that they would not see?
Yeah. So probably the easiest one, I mean, there's many ways to do that, but most common would be using session. So if you're um, um, there, there is this function called set session, which allows you to set a value. So if the page that you're coming from, or however you arrive at this page, um, you could use set session to store a value that is specific to that user. It just exists for this particular user session, and then so with set session you can store it. With session you can retrieve it. So it's a a temporary work area where you can store values like that. You want me
And that's in the action, for instance, if in the form I have a drop down for the precincts to choose. So they do the drop down, they choose the precinct, and they click a button that says
to
get
go,
that precinct's data, and that does a redirect. But first, it
right?
needs to set the session. So is there an action that sets sessions, or is that just a create or update token with a dummy variable and the set session?
Exactly. that latter. Yep.
Okay, got it. Got it. Okay. Now, I think I'll do that instead so that I'm not passing a parameter and showing, you know,
Stuff that they
the,
might not, you don't really want them
that they
to
really don't
play
need to
with.
see. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thank you. That's great.
Absolutely. Let me, yeah. So I have a standard test that I do as we do new versions, and then I think that will illustrate this. Um, and let me get the code behind started here so we can look at it. So I have a value field that is completely just default empty of a text box, and I have a set session button. So the set session button does exactly what you said, a create update tokens that has a dummy, just exactly what you said. And um, and I'm using the set session token and I'm storing it into my key. You could call it anything that you know, any name that you want, typically just letters and numbers and no punctuation. But
Sure.
so my key is the thing that's going to hold it. And then I'm taking whatever value is in that. So in your case, it'd be a precinct number, right?
Right.
And then um, in order to illustrate this, I'm setting to make sure that this is working. I'm setting value to some other just so I can see that it's working. So you'll see this in a second. And then I'm doing an update form AJAX. So the impact then is I can say Don and click my set session button, and Don is now stored in my key in the session variable, and I've changed the value of the value to zap just so that you know that it's uh, it's done something, right? Providing a little positive feedback. So now we examine the next button, the session button. I'm pretty sure this is the thing that gets that back. It is. So we're doing a create update token to say that value, we're now going to get that back out of session. So if I click my session button, it gets done back. So this is just proving that I can push things into session and pull things back out of session however I want to do
And you're not doing a redirect to the page. So
it.
you're not reloading the page using an AJAX.
Right. In my case, I'm just uh, you might want to actually redirect. Um are you doing this? Is it all in one form or is it coming from someplace else?
It could be in one form.
Right.
Um,
So then in which case, if you've got a question or a drop down that says pick a form, um pick a precinct, and they type a precinct number, when they push the button, you can put it into sessions so that if they refresh the page or whatever else, um, I mean, as soon as you push the button and it's in session, now it's there for the duration of however long session lasts, which is kind of a topic in its own self. So long as people are
well, it only needs to be, the millisecond or so that it takes to refresh the page,
right.
or I guess refresh the form, because with that, um, if I go into settings, yeah, into is it events?
Well,
No, yeah,
if you there's a couple of things,
events.
a couple of possibilities. You
Right.
can do it. I'm going to refresh here so we can see this collapse. You can do it on the buttons. So you could ask for the precinct and do the work of setting up your form in the button and then do that update form AJAX. Or if you do it in events like on page load, on pre-init, on init, you're going to have to either redirect or just allow fall through so that the page refreshes, right? If
Ah, I see what you mean. So by putting it on the button, I would do the SQL lookup, change the value of I've got all the stuff in a static value, all of the demographics that I'm showing.
mm-hmm.
So uh, I do the SQL call, it pulls up the various statistics, puts it into a table, and then uh, into a
Static
record,
text.
and
Yep.
then I drop that into static text. So the button would do that, and then I would do AJAX and to end it all.
And that would update. So now instead of your form refreshing, it would just flicker, right?
Yes, cool.
You
I will try that.
sounds like uh, the good scenario. So
Right.
now the
And in
value of
that matter, I don't
session,
even need the session because it's changing the value, showing the new information, and just sitting there for the next for that person to change, to look at a different precinct.
correct.
And there's no parameter passing, no session value, no query string, no nothing.
Right. You don't need it. You don't need. I was going to say the exact same thing. You're right on track, Don. So,
Okay, good. Thank you.
um, so for your purposes, you could probably just stop right there, just for a little bit of theoretical. Let's say that um, you want to be able to come from another page where they're looking at a precinct, and you want to show the precinct values, and yet let them pick a different precinct while they're here.
Hmm.
So the impact would be this form comes up and it loads and shows you the precinct values, and then if they pick a different precinct, it would click and do that. So um, that's again, it's not your scenario, but if it were, what you kind of get into then is that the thing that populates your static text would need to happen potentially in two different places. One on the button when they click the button to say, show me this precinct, and the other in the on pre-init as they're coming into the form. That would be a perfect opportunity to use a workflow to generate your content. Because
Ah,
if you had a workflow that accepted a precinct as an input and came out with the HTML that you need to display, now you could put the same workflow on the on pre-init and um, on the button click, and you're not duplicating logic. But again, that's kind of next step if you had a slightly different use case.
got it. Okay, now that makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So I just looked over. The room is filled up a little bit more. Welcome, one and all. We're still on first call. Somebody have anything else you want to talk about? Let's see, where did it go here?
So I have a question slash topic, if that's okay, if we
Please.
have time.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you recall a bit ago, I was trying to color within the lines of plant and app low code. I still am, and I have a question, maybe a couple of questions regarding that. So when you have, and I'm thinking about two types of um, elements. One is documents, another is text notes. But let's focus on documents first. If I have, in this case, it's a ticket that may have multiple documents attached to it, then I set up my entity with a list of documents. And that all works quite nicely. It creates the everything I need from a form standpoint, plus maintains a table of that one-to-many relationship. So a couple of questions. One, does that file that gets uploaded actually show up in the files list? One. Two, how do I correctly, and again, coloring the lines, delete the file when needed, and if needed, resynchronize the files list. My first thought is that the file does not make that DNN standard file list. It exists in that relationship table with a file ID, but it didn't seem to exist in the listing of files on the server, the DNN function.
I'm so glad to have lots of you around me to make sure that I tell the truth here, but check me. When you create that kind of a relationship, I would expect that you're going to see it in the underscore files folder.
Yep.
It's going to create a subfolder for you
Yes.
to put the
Yes.
and the files will exist.
And that all works as expected. Yes.
Okay. So then I would also expect that if you delete the file, excuse me, if you delete the item from the list of table, that the related file deletes automatically. Anyone?
Well,
Contradict me?
go ahead, Patrick.
That I don't think does happen. I think that just deletes the relationship, I believe.
If you actually delete the subordinate item, not the relation.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yep. It should, yeah, it'll, because it's it's a dependency. Yeah, it'll drop the file ID out of the relation table. Yep.
But it won't actually delete the file.
I think it will.
If you're deleting the file, if you delete the relationship record, the file remains. It's just the relationship between the file and the record.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well, Patrick. Yeah. And then so there's use cases where I would need to delete the file. And
yeah, and in that case, you just you just add to your action stack that.
Add to my action stack.
There's an action for deleting files.
Yeah, right. You would just delete the file in your action stack. At this,
Okay.
you would delete that immediately. I think you'd want to delete your relationship first and then delete your file.
Okay. So that all makes sense. So the top level is if I have in one of, let's say in this case, Dale's working with contacts. If I have a contact that has a file associated with it, or maybe more than one file, and I delete that contact, the associated files do not get deleted, just that relationship table gets either deleted or updated. Is that a true statement?
I believe that's correct.
Okay.
You know, this is I think this is worth exploring. So
Yeah.
unless somebody objects, let's build it. So what's a good entity related to contacts that has documents that would be their identity papers? How about that?
Sure. Show me the papers.
Dale, I was going to say I object just in case you prove me wrong. Just kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding
an
around.
apology will be forthcoming. All right. So let's say identity documents.
CV is faster to type.
Really? Yeah, but I'm a verbose guy. If you guys haven't figured that out by now. All right. So the documents are going to have a name, and well, maybe we'll give them a title. And this is going to be a we'll just call it a file. No, I don't want
Papers.
Sure. Show me your papers.
Right.
So this is going to be of type. It's going to be a list of a well-used system here. List of documents.
Yep.
And yep. And that's it. So we have title and papers. And title is our display name. So we're going to now link this to contact. So we have this illustration. So we go to contact. And that property, that's going to be papers, and I think that other one should have been not been a list of. That should have been an addendum. I'm going to change that in a second. So this is going to be a list of identity documents. So each contact can have many identity documents.
Right.
Right. All right. So we'll merge that back, and then we'll do identity documents one more time. Yeah, this is not a, so I'm going to delete this out. Because I didn't get it right in the first place. We'll put it back in as a different type. So it's going to be a document, not a list of documents. One document per record here. So now let's test the functionality. So we have, pull this down so I can just keep a focus. So on contact, let's see what we have, the result. We go look at contacts. We have any contacts already. All right, so we have contacts and we have identity documents, and there, you can have as many as you want. And so let's see if I can attach some here. So I go through the interface. This was an old one, so now I've got into trouble. Here we go. We'll fix this. We got to get everything off into Bootstrap 5 here. So
I remember the bouncing listing.
yeah, isn't that great? So we're going to put it.
I kind of miss it.
Make sure everything is okay. So this is Bootstrap 5. It probably just needs to be a Bootstrap 5 page. So let's get that to happen. It is Bootstrap 5. So what else do we have? This one is data table, so that shouldn't be a problem. This one is Bootstrap 5. What have I done?
How about the theme on the page? Is that?
It is.
Yeah. What about the tabs?
We'll check that too. It's page builder.
Yes, 5.
Yep. And I agree. The tabs should be checked. Bootstrap 5. Right. So let's, I'm going to try something I haven't done in a while. Let's do this. We'll go to this page. We're just going to delete the page out and let Plantain app regenerate it. So we have our page details. This is all auto-generated content. I'm just going to delete the page. We'll have to remove it from the recycle bin as well. So,
By the way, that trick of deleting the page like that and having it auto-generate again comes in quite handy when you've messed things up.
uh-huh. So we will save again and merge, and let's see if this all comes back, except 1 tablespoon. So all right, I don't know what, there was something Bootstrap 3 there before, but now it's back. So we have our stuff. We want to add a record. This is going to be, who knows what. We're going to click to add something here. Doesn't matter what we add, hopefully. So now we have something connected to the record. And if we refresh this, we now see that there is one document. And now if we go from a files exploration standpoint, if we look at underscore files, maybe it's files. There it is, files. So this is a secure folder. This is where Plantain app always puts its entity stuff. So under files, entities, identity documents. See, these got created automatically for us. Papers. We now have this one file that exists. So it's automatically going to put them here for us just because we said it's a type of document. Everyone with me?
So far, so good.
So now the question is, what happens if we delete this thing? If we go into the identity document item and thought there was a delete function here. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Let's go back. I think that, and we should look, I think this delete button removes the relationship, but not the item. So let's verify what's happening here. This is in the papers list. Looking at the delete button, what does it do? I'm just exploring what its current function is, right? So delete, It does a remove papers from contact. So this is, there's an action that automatically, it's removing the relationship, but not deleting the item.
And this is where I was saying that you would just immediately below the remove papers from contact action, you would add a delete file action with the same ID in it if you wanted to get rid of the file too.
Okay, so, but can we test out the first portion of that? Does it actually, you have a delete button. All right, so what you're saying is that delete button to the right simply changes the index.
Removes the relationship item from the table.
Okay.
So let's do it. So we got rid of it, and now this is going to show back, I have 0 relationships, right? But if I go view, I'm going to do another page. If I go look at the list of identity documents, the identity document still exists.
Okay, so that thing
Record
still exists in the
and
file itself.
in the file itself.
File, yep, files manager. Okay.
So we look in here, it still exists. If from here, if you ever delete the document itself, whether through the action as Patrick has suggested or here interactively, which is the same, actually we should show this off. This is what's behind this delete button. It's doing a delete of the entity document. It's not trying to do anything at the file level. It's just deleting the record that it's attached to. But when we do this, not only does it go away from here, but and this is the exciting part. So I think you were right, Patrick, that it doesn't get rid of the file. I would have thought it got rid of the file. Is that what you were?
I was actually talking about the relationship part, but this, I think maybe I've seen this before too, but
So if you
So
what we just went through would suggest that you also need to
yeah,
take a step to get rid of the file if you want to get rid of it.
okay, fair enough. So so then these have to be essentially separate actions. One, update the relationship table, and then two, physically delete the file. The third, I'm sorry, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, continuing on, the third would be to get rid of the item, the record that had the, in my case, the identity document. So the identity document has a file attached to it. We need to get rid of both of those things if you want to keep everything nice and tidy.
Yeah, and that's exactly my goal. It's, cleaning up the crumbs, so to speak. Okay, so
make one adjustment to that pathway. You have to read the identity document record first before you delete the file, because otherwise you don't know what file you're deleting. If you delete the identity document first, then you're going to lose the reference to the file itself.
Agreed. And I think there is this bears testing, but I think there's a very good chance that if you delete the file, the identity document will go away as well. If we were to have deleted the underlying file, I think identity document might disappear. So,
so a related question.
sir.
There is the files list in the files table, standard DNN table. Does this file get added to that table? My initial observations were no. I think it's going to be the bottom. You want to do the, yep.
Yeah.
File ID. Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Okay. Cool. So in this case, let's say we want to clean up the breadcrumbs behind, I've got to delete the file, read the table first, get the correct file ID, delete the file by file ID, then update the table. And the update of the table, I think, is already built in. I just have to observe it.
Experiment here. Somebody should have stopped me.
I think it's just, yeah. All right.
identity documents.
Identity. Yeah.
So isn't that interesting? Deleting it from the there's a trigger on the files table that
For clarification, this list, is it showing you the physical
great
information or the database? Because if it's just the database, it didn't do anything to the physical file.
Good question. You win. I keep trying to think we're doing more things for you and we're not. So Dale 0, team 5.
Yeah, but Dale, you're the ones out there taking the arrows. So this kind of strikes to the heart of file management on DNN. What is the best practice for doing this? How does one go about this cleanly and reliably?
Do what Ben said, and Patrick.
Which is?
I'm sorry. That we have there's these variety of assets. So in this case, an identity document paper that needs, so we have records to clean up, relationships to clean up, and files to clean up. And so
and more.
you have to kind of read and get to the lowest level. So read the identity document to get the paper's ID. And then there is a delete option there's an action that you can use to delete that file ID, which will remove the file.
So you manually went in and deleted via SQL by document ID, and that simply updated the table, did not physically remove that JPEG.
So maybe we should close the loop by trying to build all of this. So if that's okay.
I can think of 2 additional tasks there to clean up. Just briefly, you go ahead and do that, Dale. I'm with you. But you also need to test that folder that was created earlier to see if it's now empty, and you want to clean that up too. And another thing is to resynchronize the files, so it is aware that that file has been deleted.
And if you do it through
if you do the delete action, that auto syncs.
Right.
Okay, cool.
When you say the delete action, you're referring to the action stack action.
Correct.
Delete file. Yeah.
Okay, so that delete then physically deletes the file, updates the files table, and synchronizes the respective directory.
Files table.
Well, the files table is the synchronization.
Yeah.
There's only 2
don't
things.
forget-
It's the table and the physical. So it deletes the physical, removes the entry out of the files table. You're done.
But don't forget the folder that was created.
If you want to delete the folder as well, then that would be extra work.
If it was automatically created when it was uploaded.
Yeah, good point.
So I think what we're going to try and do is to close the loop by doing it all. We want to set this delete button to get rid of everything. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's good.
So we've added it. It's there. Let's actually verify. So we've got our document in the file system. It's physically present. So let's go do our delete button. So the steps should be buttons, delete. Currently, all we have is to remove the relationship, and we have a document ID. So before we do this, I think we need to read based on ID. So we'll read identity document, getting the ID. So we're going to put this right up at the top, and the output token is going to be being verbose, just so that we don't get lost. So we're reading it. This is removing the relationship. What are we going to do next? Delete the file?
Yes.
So I think this is going to be down under file management, delete file. The identifier is going to be this. That should be the ID. No one's stopping me, so I assume that's right. And then we want to actually remove the identity document. And we'll put that here as well. And this is the same ID that we had in the first place. So we're getting the information we need, removing the relationship, deleting the file, deleting the document. Did I miss anything? Except cleaning up the folder, if you want to do that. All right, no one's stopping me, so here we go. So we're going to delete. Yes, it goes away. So now we want to, if we go to identity documents, it's not here. If we go to contacts, this should refresh as 0. I didn't refresh this earlier, so that's fine. No relationship, no, and so now the question is, we want to sync here and make sure it's gone from here. It's gone from here, and then we'll sync again. And it's not coming back. We would actually have to go look at the file system, perhaps, to make sure. But I feel confident it's gone now.
So hitting sync wasn't necessary, right?
No, we did not, because we used our actions should all be sync aware.
Okay.
I was doing that, trying to force it to refresh, which was optimistic of me. But the file system should be synced because we used sync aware actions. If you deleted it using PowerShell, for example, we wouldn't know that, and so it would continue to look like it's here until you resynced the file system.
All right. So would you mind just poking back into that form and let's go over that action stack again?
Sure. So we're gathering information, reading the identity document, the thing that we're trying to get rid of. We're reading it first because we want to know the file ID. Then this removes the relationship, and this was automatically built for us, but it's giving us the contact ID that we're trying to and so from contact Dale and Jeannie Warner, we're removing this particular identity document. So that's getting rid of the relationship. Delete file is actually getting rid of the file. That's why we needed to read it in the first place. We have identity document record from our read, and papers is the ID of the thing that existed. And then we're deleting identity document. The ID, again, this is the same ID that was in the list to start with, and then a refresh.
Cool.
So I think I'm 0 for 2, right, on the things that I suggested, but I'm going to try 0 for 3 here. I think if we deleted the identity document without deleting the relationship, that it would in fact delete the relationship as well. So it's possible that we could false this one out, and But we don't want to prove me wrong a third time. So this what we did will definitely work.
So I guess a related question: when you sync a folder, it obviously updates the files table. Is there any similar or associated routine to resync/rebuild the relationships table? Or is that something you just got to be careful of and aware of? I think the answer is it doesn't do it. There's no automatic way to do it.
I agree. I don't believe there's no automatic way to do it. However, again, this thing that I just mentioned, I think if you were to delete either side, either the contact or the identity paper in this case, that the relationship would dissolve. It would remove the associated records and not leave orphans.
Yeah.
But there's no automatic way to rebuild that because that is yeah, you just have to add them when you need them and remove them when they're gone. And I would do it through our actions if at all possible.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. A lot of subtleties there that got addressed. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think what I'm going to do is kind of do a run through of, I'll let you know what we've been up to, and then we'll not get into the deep detail that was planned. I never know whether we're going to get into a topic or not, but we did a lot of first calls, so let me show you what else we've got going on. Last week we spent a lot of time talking about Forms 2.0, and I thank you for your engagement with that. This week I have been doing a lot of work defining all of our styling and also field presence, whether or not a field is part of a form, whether it's visible on the form, whether it's enabled on the form. And I wanted to go through that with you so that you could help me spot if we've missed anything. But we have what we think is a good plan for doing that in Forms 2.0, and I'm going to roll that over till next week. But I think there's a lot of good details there, and I think again, love to hear if we've missed anything. But I think what we're doing is going to be a lot clearer. And let's just pick one. You know, we have bind, show, and we have show conditionally in different places. There's also well, I'll just take those two. The fact that they're in different places and with different expressions and all, it just can make it very difficult to understand exactly what it's doing. So we're going to bring those together in one block in the UI so that you can see that together and understand why it's being shown or hidden and things like that. So anyway, I'll go into that in detail next week. Did not make any documentation updates this week. On Campfire, I don't know if any of you got the 10 spam or all of you got the 10 spam entries, but we had an event where somebody figured out a way to get past our spam filter and was sending out a bunch of spam. So sorry about that. We've got it back in gear now. And actually, it's kind of more of a hack. The spam filter was working just fine, but we have rules that say, well, if you've participated in our community forum 3 times or more and never spammed us, we'll assume you're good. Well, somebody with an account from 2020 got hacked, and so that's where those came from. They had participated early, and then anyway. There was some additional commentary. Our old friend of the program, an employee, Radu, posted an answer about interesting ways to log off a user, a little bit of JavaScript. So that was an interesting technique, and so worth following along there. And then Campfire contributions, a thing that we talked about at least 2 weeks ago now. I finally got on. This is using JavaScript in a bind expression. So this was yours, Matt, that this pattern of being able to do includes instead of a bunch of is current status this or that, then true. So documented that pattern. And then one of the things I learned when trying to document this, and so we see it here, just one. We can see that pattern at work.
Very nice. Very nice. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. One of the things that I learned in that is I don't know how to pass these as a token value. So if you have a tokenized list of valid statuses, it doesn't work as well. So if this were like, bracket statuses bracket, even though it contains this content, it ends up being treated differently, and different values like blank or 2 would be valid even if you in that setup. So if you're trying to pass it as tokens, it's not going to work as well. But if you have a static list, it works great. So, and I haven't figured out the answer for being able to pass tokens yet. This token, of course, works fine, but this token is the problem area. So that's at least out there so that we can, learn it once, use it over. And I'm now at the end. Anybody have some 3 minutes worth of something else you'd like to cover? All right, it's been another good hour. Thanks for spending it with us. We will do this again next Friday and probably dive into the things that the Forms 2.0 stuff again. So if you have the time and inclination, please hang with us for Afterglow, and we will see you all next week.